What is up, nerds? It is Reptile DIY here again, and today we are going to be discussing one of the most slept on jacket platforms in the scene, and more specifically, how I transformed my jacket from a thrift store find heading into a scrap heap into something that I would be proud to wear. So let's get this shit started. Alright. So when you think of punk, metal, or even goth jackets, the first thing that probably comes to mind is a classic motorcycle leather jacket, or maybe even a denim jacket or vest. But a readily available, cheap and durable third option exists that most people overlook completely, which is a military field jacket. Military surplus field jackets can be readily found at thrift stores and military surplus stores. They're made with heavy-duty materials, and I find their lightweight build a solid option for spring and fall weather. Historically, in the punk scene back in the early 1980s, anarcho-punks often wore military surplus gear, oftentimes dyed black. The fashion representing the nihilistic attitudes of an economic depression and the looming threat of a global conflict happening during that time frame. Sounds vaguely familiar, doesn't it? Which was a very stark contrast from the flashy, artsy, and very vibrant 1977 punk scene from a few years earlier. With anarcho-punk lyrics centered around political discourse, nuclear annihilation, global warfare, and the threat of human extinction, it was natural that anarcho-punks adopted military surplus gear into their imagery. Not only because surplus gear had an underlying utilitarian use, but it was also visually appealing as well. And we can still see the adaptation of military surplus gear into the later punk scenes like crust, D-beat, and to a lesser extent, even street punk. These military surplus jackets can and have been utilized in other alternative countercultures as well, like metal, industrial, goth, and they even fit into the wasteland aesthetic as well. So enough rambling, let's talk about supplies. First and foremost, you need a military-style jacket. Personally, I prefer a heavy fabric jacket, especially if you plan on studying it. Any military field jacket from any nation or era works, but some of my go-tos are Cold War era surplus jackets and M65 field jackets. Now these Nick supplies are just what I am personally going to use. And to preface the rest of the video, guys, this tutorial is less of a tutorial and more of an overview of how I modified my jacket. I used fabric dye, black acrylic paint, a sponge brush, studs. Also check out studsandspikes.com for more information. The link will be down below. Pliers, a scrap leather belt, scrap fabric, snaps, nylon sewing thread or dental floss, fabric glue, an iron, and patches. I ordered my patches from Crust Punks, but you can get them from anywhere. I also have these 2 old tutorials that I highly recommend you watching if you want to learn how to make your own patches from any image. The link will be in the description down below. Alright. So here is my jacket. Now guys, I made the mistake of buying a non-military jacket that is in the style of a military jacket from a thrift store. I believe this is a Walmart brand jacket, but it is loosely based off the M65 field jacket. I highly recommend that you use a real military jacket because the material will be thicker and they have actual snaps and heavy-duty hardware. That being said, I do like how this jacket fit on the slimmer side and I do like the color. So next up, I'm going to dye my jacket. You can keep your jacket camouflage, olive drab, or the natural material that the jacket already is if you want to. Or you can even paint it two-tone with a next step, which I will talk about shortly. But essentially, you just follow the directions on the back of the writ dye. Depending on the fabric or material, you can add a cup of salt or other recommended ingredients to help the dye stick better. Read the back of your dye for more information and instructions. Now that the jacket is dyed, I rinsed it off a few times. You could alternatively wash it in a wash machine by itself with cold water on a delicate setting. Next up, I'm going to be doing some panel painting because I want a two-tone effect on this jacket. Check out this older tutorial of mine that I have on panel painting for a full disclosure. But essentially, I just paint some panels with gloss black acrylic paint. This makes my jacket two-tone flat black and a bright, shiny gloss black. The black gloss acrylic paint turns fabric into a rubber/leather-like texture, and Crust Punks have been doing it since the 1980s. Check out this other tutorial if you want to learn more about gloss black acrylic denim painting. Essentially, I just did 2 coats with plenty of time to dry in between, and if you plan on doing this, make sure you only use gloss black acrylic paint, not matte paint Not any other paint, but gloss black acrylic paint. More information is in these older tutorials down below. But here is our two-tone jacket. You can see the dyed part that is matte black and the gloss black acrylic paint. That makes it a two-tone jacket. Now with this gloss black acrylic paint, you're going to want to wear it for a few weeks and break it in because it's very stiff at first. But once you break it in, it will become a leather/rubber-like texture. Like I said, check out those other old tutorials. This is a method that crust-punks have been using since the 1980s. Next up, I just added a chaos armband that I made. Honestly, in the late 1970s and early 80s, armbands were common accessories in the punk scene, and I thought an armband would go with the militaristic theme of this 80s-inspired jacket. I will probably do a whole video showcasing the history of seditionaries armbands and how to make your own, so subscribe if you want to see that. Now guys, I'm sure you all know how to sew, but I'm going to go over how I set my needles. Essentially, I take 2 to 3 arm lengths of wax thread or dental floss, run my needle through to the middle, fold each ends on themselves, then tie the ends off in a triple knot. This allows your thread to be twice as strong as a single thread when sewing. My main sewing method is called a whip stitch, which is demonstrated here. But it is essentially running your thread over and under in straight, evenly spaced parallel stitches, with the visible stitches straight and parallel and the hidden stitches at an angle. If you are more advanced at hand sewing, then you can also learn this backstitch method. Anyways, it's at this point that I realized my bootleg military jacket had no inside pockets, so I took some scrap fabric and sewed an inside pocket. I prefer all my inside pockets to hold at least 3 tall cans. You can sew Velcro inserts if you want a more secure pocket that closes. Now if I was smart, I would have added this pocket before I dyed the jacket, but instead I just took some watered down black acrylic paint and painted the white pocket fabric black. I also hid the visible stitches on the front side with a black paint pen. Alright, so here are my patches from Crust Punks, and the link will be down below. When I do not like making my own patches, I tend to order from online distros like Crust Punks, or even buying patches at shows. Anyway, usually when you get big patches, they have creases from folding. Personally, I use a clothes iron and iron them out from the backside. To avoid pulling the logo off, I want them nice and flat. I also like to fold the edges of all my patches over to form a hem to avoid your patches from fraying and falling apart once you sew them onto your jacket. You can layer a bandana over your patches while ironing as to not melt the screen printing ink. But as you can see, all my patches are folded over, they're hemmed and ironed flat and ready to be sewn. So to sew these bad boys on, I tack my patches down using safety pins and hand sew them using the whip stitch method. Pretty simple stuff, guys. I'm sure you already know this, especially if you are already in the punk, goth, metal, or alternative scenes. But our patches are all done, they're all whip stitched up. Maybe I should have been a surgeon instead of making shitty YouTube videos. Now finally guys, I'm going to talk about studding. Now since my jacket was a bootleg and so thin, I had to add an extra layer of fabric on the inside of the jacket so the studs would not fall out as easily. If your jacket is as thick as, let's say, a denim jacket, this step may not be necessary. But for extremely thin jackets, like this bootleg I got at a thrift store, it is absolutely necessary to double up the fabric if you plan on studding it. If you guys don't want to stud it, skip this part of the video. So I flip the jacket inside out, find the area that I want to stud, then lather on a layer of fabric glue. I recommend putting it on the fabric insert instead of the jacket. Then apply the fabric insert to the inner area of the jacket that you want to reinforce for studding. Essentially, we're just reinforcing the fabric so the studs have something to grab onto. You can layer it between 2 heavy flat objects and let it dry for 24 hours. Now, if you want to learn more about this method, I use a similar method in this tutorial for fixing up torn denim jackets. But the main difference between that tutorial and this method is that I am only using fabric glue for doubling up this jacket instead of the shoe glue that I use in the other tutorial. Feel free to watch that tutorial for a more in-depth representation of this process, but this method only uses fabric glue like I said. Alright, so let's finish this shit up. I did not record the studding process, but here it is all done up. I used dense pattern studding on the upper back and both shoulders and line work studding around the hems and pockets. Some other things I added was a cut up leather belt to emulate military style shoulder straps. I also replaced the regular buttons with actual snaps to give the jacket a more heavy duty feel. I finished up by adding band buttons, some of which I made myself out of scrap material. Check out this other tutorial if you want to learn how to make your own buttons for practically free. But anyway guys, here is my finished jacket. In my opinion, it is pretty minimalistic, which was exactly the look I was going for. Personally, I find it a nice middle ground to my heavy leather jackets. and my heavily studded vest. Hopefully you learned something new from this tutorial that you can apply to your future projects and that you can continue to make your own clothes and gear instead of buying fast fashion, sweatshop produced garbage. I've been doing this DIY shit since around 2005, 2006, and I would love to share some of my knowledge when it comes to making punk, goth, and alternative gear. Absolutely check out my other tutorials, the links will be down below, and make sure to hit that button. Until next time, see you later, nerds. Hey, thank you guys for making it to the very end of the video. I'm going to start doing shoutouts to some of my favorite distros or content creators in the scene. This time, I'm going to shout out the Felopunk YouTube channel. Felopunk is an absolute hidden gem for those of you that are unaware. Felopunk has been platforming international punk, crust, noise, and D-beat bands since 2011. In my opinion, Felopunk is one of the best resources on this platform, giving spotlight to the kind of music that we all love. So thank you, Felopunk, for all your hard work, and everyone make sure to subscribe to them if you want to hear some of the best and upcoming crust punk and D-beat artists.